Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Hello, my name is Keenan, and today I'm going to be talking about my Christian's Vocation Block 7 p.m. class and what I've learned. First, we're going to be talking about the interior gaze. And exactly what is the interior gaze? The interior gaze is being able to see the beauty of a person past their bodies for who they truly are as a human being and willing the best for that human being. The interior gaze has everything to do with Adam and Eve and the fact that Adam and Eve originally had the interior gaze before they conceived original sin, and they were able to see each other's hearts for who they truly were in God within each other. And this affects us today because once Adam and Eve conceived original sin, we as human beings were born without being able to, with the ability of interior gaze. Rather, we had to learn it from our parents, and our parents were supposed to display the interior gaze upon each other properly. And if we as children were unable to experience and witness the interior gaze of them, then we ourselves are not going to be able to display the interior gaze upon our spouses, and therefore it will affect our children and so on, so on. But we can learn the interior gaze through love and patience and kindness. And the interior gaze applies to couples today and how they're not practicing it, and the fact that couples are supposed to follow the interior gaze correctly. They're supposed to wait till marriage. They're supposed to wish the best. Rather, today in our culture, they are using it, they're neglecting it and using each other solely for sexual purposes and their own desires and pleasures. Examples of the interior gaze an example is my wife. She has cancer and she's going through chemo. Her hair is falling out. She's throwing up, nauseating, diarrhea, all this. I completely neglect that, and I still love her for who she truly is at heart. I see God within her, and I see that she's my wife who has raised my children, and I love her for who she truly is. Now, the interior gaze is voided within child sex abuse through lust, actually. Because the person, let's say me as the abuser, I see the child, I neglect the fact that they are a precious human being of God, and rather I decide to use them and manipulate them and use them for my own personal pleasures. What is lust? Lust is looking completely void of God's love and looking at another individual as using them for my own desires, and it affects it is different from the interior gaze to the fact that you completely neglect for the person who they are at heart, and you completely just use them for your own sexual purposes. You focus on the boobs, vagina, and butt for a girl, and you just neglect the interior person for who they are. And it affects our culture because we have an over-sexualized culture, such as pornography, strip clubs, and all this other stuff that have infected our culture and influenced bad love. The three types of intercourse are fellatio, coitus, and sodomy. Sodomy is anal, fellatio is oral pleasure, and coitus is sexual pleasure of the penis penetrating the vagina. And the only one that does not negate natural law is coitus. And why does this matter? Well, because we were created to produce, and we can only produce through offspring, through coitus. And masturbation is selfish because it completely neglects all of these and focuses on yourself, pleasuring your own body, and not producing any offspring, but just using people as objects. Boom! Was that good?
It was under by like 10 seconds.
Let's go!